Hey besties, today's video is a little bit different from my regular content, but I did want to make this video because I recently graduated college and I've been like reflecting on it a little bit. There was so much going into it that I wish I knew or someone could have told me, and I've just learned a lot, and I feel like I want to help bestow some of my knowledge on you guys. And especially if like you're first generation immigrant or you just never been to college before, it's some things that you need to know that like no one told you. Okay, so this video is going to be divided into 3 parts. I'm going to share my experience with you guys, then I'm going to talk about like really essential stuff, and then stuff that like it's just good to know. So let's get into it. Alright, so first I wanted to just talk about my experience a little bit. So I'm like first generation immigrant plus first generation college student plus first generation college graduate. So like no one in my family has ever been to this rodeo before. I've just been like the first one to figure it out all on my own, and my older brother has gone to college. Like he goes to University of the West Indies, which is in the Caribbean. It's in Jamaica, so it's like a completely different scenario than like what I would have experienced. So me doing this, it was pretty much like a brand new ball game for me. So going to college, I did pretty much everything on my own. I applied to colleges on my own. I did my FAFSA. I don't know if that's how it's pronounced. I feel like I've been pronouncing it wrong. I've heard someone told me like you pronounce it wrong. I say FAFSA. I think most people say FAFSA. I did that all on my own. Did I probably do it wrong all 4 years? Probably. It's really good to have someone help you, but if you have no one, like, you can do it on your own. You just need your parents' information and you're good to go. So I did pretty much all of that on my own, no help. Like literally I was like 17 being a boss, okay? Did all my college apps on my own, filled out my SAT stuff on my own. Pretty much everything that I did on my own. It's really good to move away from like your family and everything that you've known for character development. So like I really wanted to experience like the full college experience, and so I like moved away to this one college that was freaking weird, but I will say it was like one of the best and worst experiences of my life. I got to know myself like as an adult on like a whole different level, but also like I got to experience life without other people's opinions and like what I should think about it or how I should feel about it or like what my ideologies are. So I feel like that is really good if you're really trying to find yourself. So like my first year I went to a college that was like far away. Then I decided like no, this isn't for me. I had to transfer. So well, I didn't have to, but I wanted to, so I transferred to this other college that was closer to like my house or like my home. So I like moved back home. So I basically commuted for the rest of my college career after the first semester of my second year. Does that make sense? Hope so. So part 2 of this video is getting into like the really serious things that like you really need to know or you'll be in distress. I'm saving you thousands and thousands of dollars if you heed my warnings, okay? So I got my computer here and I made a little notes so I don't miss anything because I feel like this is really important. First thing I wrote is about like your major. I think it's so important to like know exactly what you want to major in because you don't want to go into college just going into it because it's what everyone's doing, or like you feel like you need to do it just because like that's what your parents want. Because you go in undeclared, or you go in, you know, kind of feeling like, oh, this is what I want to do, but like I'm not really sure, then like you're probably going to end up either dropping out or switching majors halfway through, and that could really set you back like 2 years or a year, and that's more money. So I feel like if you really don't know what you want to do, like you can take the time to like figure it out. Like there's just no rush into feeling like, oh, I'm 18, I gotta do this, or like I'm 19, I gotta do this. Even if you do feel like, oh, this is what I want to do, like you have to make a promise to yourself like I'm gonna stick with this major, which is like insane for like a 17-year-old or 18-year-old, even like a 19-year-old, to be like, this is what I'm gonna do for the rest of my life, because like your frontal lobe develop so much within like the next 3 or 4 years that like you're gonna become like an entire different person. And I hope this is like not bad advice, but like Like, you just really have to stick with whatever you went into. But like at the same time, like if you feel like you need to change, like don't feel like, oh, you can't, you know, because like most people end up like changing their majors. Like you don't want to finish and then stuck with a degree that like you hate. I feel like a good way to avoid that is to like do shadowing. So like if you want to be like a doctor or like a surgeon, anesthesiologist, whatever the case is, like you should probably like try to find like someone you know who's a doctor, or like talk to your counselors at like your school or whatever and find like, oh, like is there any way you could help me get like a shadowing opportunity, so like you can just like go around and shadow this person and see like, oh, like this is what their daily life is kind of like can I do that, what do I feel like that's something like I could do, because that will probably broaden your horizons to realize like, oh hell no, I cannot do this. Like for me, I thought I wanted to do nursing, and like in my high school I did like a little year-long nursing opportunity thing, and I realized I cannot do this because I don't really like touching on people like that. Like I don't know why I thought that's something I would like to do, but I realized very quick, and so I didn't waste my time going into college doing nursing, even though like that's what I applied to do. But like I changed before the semester even started. Or like just ask people who you know who like that's their job. You ask them about their experience, like work-life balance, do they like it, stuff like that would be really good. Alright, next thing I wrote down is about the cost. Really want to be aware of how you're going to pay for college. Are you going to do loans? Is your parents going to help you? Are you going to work to pay it off? Because I feel like a lot of people go in not realizing how expensive college really is. You don't even realize the gravity of the situation until it's all said and done, and then you're stuck with these huge debt and you can't pay it off. So make sure you like do your loan counseling, actually pay attention. So the third thing I wrote down is CC versus university, and when I say CC, I'm referring to community colleges. So community college is usually like a more affordable option for college, but it does have its downsides. In Jamaica, there's like a saying that you're saving through the lid, but you're gonna leak through the bottom, and I feel like with community college, it can kind of be like that with certain majors. Emphasis on with certain majors, so that's up to you to like do your research and make sure this is not going to like lead you down like a bad path, because like for nursing, if you go to community college for nursing, when you graduate, you're going to graduate being an LPN. But when you go to a university for nursing, when you graduate, you're going to have your BSN, which I believe you become an RN. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. But like you're definitely going to make a lot more when you go to school for 4 years compared to 2 years or however long it takes you to graduate with your associates from a community college. Next thing I wrote down is about FAFSA, or however you say it. I probably say it wrong, but that's really important because that's how you get, you know, financial aid, or some schools you get your loans with that, and it determines how much loans and aids you qualify for. And I feel like that you need to do very, very early. That doing your FAFSA early, I feel like that helps determine how much you get, because if you do it in January, so many people already applied in October, so you probably won't get as much because there's just not that much money left. So I think the open date is October, so you need to apply like very soon, make, if not the first day, like very soon in October, or at least early November. Don't wait until January and apply for the fall, because then you're just setting yourself up for failure. And there's so many times that I've done that and I got no money. So next thing I wrote down is that there's a loan limit, which I did not know until my senior year of college. And basically there's only so much you can get during your undergrad of loans, and then once you hit that loan limit, they don't give you any more money. So you're either gonna start paying out of pocket or just drop out, which is gonna be really sucky because you already spent so much money being there for like the last 3 years or however long. So I say that to say, like, don't go to a really expensive school that like you're paying for housing, you're paying for meal plans, you're paying for your tuition, you're paying for books, and you get to your 3rd year or your 4th year and you have no money left, you have no more loans. So now you're either gonna have to get a job to pay, or you're just gonna not be able to pay, and then you're gonna have to drop out, which is gonna really, really be sucky because you already accumulated so much loans. So you need something to help aid in paying back those loans. So keep in mind, don't go to a private college if you know, okay, this is really expensive and I probably won't be able to afford this after my second or third year. Keep in mind when you're deciding on what colleges you want to go to. Alright, so we're moving on to like the more fun part of this video that's not gonna stress you out because the beginning of this video was pretty intense. So moving on to like the fun part, we're talking about housing. So housing for me was kind of good because first year it was good because I had a really nice luxurious dorm. Yeah, so most freshmen, they are required to like live on campus, pretty much like most colleges. I don't really know that many colleges that are just like, oh, you can live anywhere. Freshmen, they usually are required to live on campus. I feel like housing is really important because if you live in a crappy dorm, you're gonna be in distress every single day and we don't want that. And for me, my freshman year, I lived in like a nice luxurious dorm, which is very expensive, but it was really nice. The rooms, we had our own bathrooms. I know some colleges, the freshmen, they have to like share bathroom with like 2 other people. That's very disgusting. Like, all right, no, I'm being bougie, but like, no, that's kind of gross. But I only had to share my bathroom with my roommate, which obviously you had to pay a little bit more for that. So there's that. The only thing I would like recommend is like literally finding like somebody who's so random that like you're not friends with, you've never met them, because I feel like that helps with one social skills, also like making you friends. Like my roommate ended up becoming like my best friend for that year, so that was really nice, and I got to like learn somebody who's like completely new, and I don't know, I felt like that just really helped with my social skills. I feel like choosing somebody so random will like create like the best memories, or it could be bad, but like let's really hope it's good. Alright, next thing is talking about academics, which is like not really fun, but like I do want to talk about like grades versus internships. Alright, I just want to say grades are really important because if you get crappy grades, then you're going to be in academic probation and then you could possibly get kicked out, and that's not cute. That's not why we're here. Okay, so if you are planning on going to grad school or getting your master's, PhD, whatever the case is, if you plan on continuing school, you should probably prioritize grades. If this is it for you, if undergrad you want to get your BA or your bachelor's or whatever and then leave, then I would prioritize internships, because once you graduate, all these jobs are going to be like, oh, do you have experience, do you have experience, do you have experience? And with internships you can use that as experience. If you don't have any experience, and it's going to be a little bit harder for you. So thanks to the 2008 financial crisis for ruining the economy for us. We love that. Alright, next thing. For me, I just want to say Rate My Professor is so important. Before you sign up for that class, go on Rate My Professor. Look up that professor and see what the comments say. Most of the times, I just use my discernment, because a lot of people, they just talk shit just to talk. And if it's saying like, oh, some of the comments are saying like, oh, this professor is cool, their class is easy, you don't have to go to class every day, like stuff like that, like even if it's like, I would just say like if most of the comments are bad, then like the professor is probably a little loco or loca. Okay, if most of the comments are kind of good, or like it's just a variation, I would just like take a leap of faith. Okay, go to class for like the first week, and if they look crazy, just switch out. Alright, last thing I want to talk about is parties. Most colleges, they have a party every single day. The fraternities are always throwing parties. And I just want to say, like, you don't have to go to every single party. You don't have to keep up with every single one. I do think parties are fun. I promise you, I went out like every single weekend my freshman year. Like, go to parties, have fun, get your money's worth, but like you don't have to outdrink everyone. You don't have to go to every single party every single day of the week. You don't have to go to a party and be out till 4 and then wake up for your 9 a.m. class. Like, that's just not like necessary. I feel like I've seen so many people who try to like keep up with others and like they just end up in a bad situation, and just don't do that, okay? Be safe. Don't take drinks from anyone. Go get your own drinks, or maybe from your friends, but at the same time, like, I just don't trust anyone, so like I will be really, really careful with that. But that's pretty much all. Last thing I have to add is to stay true to yourself. Don't go to college and like lose your mind and be like a follower and follow what other people do or how they dress and how they talk, and let's just lose yourself. Stay true to who you are. It's important to like learn and grow and become, different, I guess, like a better version of yourself, but like don't become other people just because you're around them, if that makes sense. But that's pretty much all I have to add on here. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm so tired from talking. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love you so much. If you have any questions, comment down below. See you next time.